Very well, thank you for keeping it Smart 24 TV. Right about now, we head to inspirations and motivations of the day. We speak about business quotes, we speak about business tips. And on a day like this, I know learners are home, students are home. I know a number of you could be home, but the difference is, yes, we could all be home. You could be actually all home relaxing, but there is one of you among yourselves thinking about, okay, they don't say mutia joram. As you may be actually in duvets and blankets covering up, you're in your sitting room, you're watching us on your TV, someone is asking themselves, okay, it's Easter Monday, but the next day is Tuesday, tomorrow is life continues or the week continues. How am I going to go through the next day? Because you realize at the end of the day, you do not want pressure the next day. You have not planned for anything. You're still in excitement. There is a lot of concerts ongoing today, and all you're thinking is about, do not rotate your mind around what is happening today. I want you to think away from today. Because I had a friend yesterday. It's not, so I happened to mention something about work. Toleta waka. Don't bring anything to do with outside this holiday. Because everyone is excited.
Most people go their break on Thursday evening.
The Holy Thursday.
Yes, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Monday. 4 days people are not working. I've seen a number of people who have actually gone out to travel up country. So some people have gone to game parks. People are just, I think today will be the last day that people are enjoying their merrymaking and all that, and the Easter, because even today, like you said, there are concerts. So you can imagine someone is going to attend a concert and supposed to be at work at 8 tomorrow or at 7. Or
and
you could say.
That's why someone was telling me, you know what, don't tell me about those things.
So people are still, and the good
don't
thing
spoil
about
the mood. When I'm in a certain mood and you bring those things, they feel annoyed.
And some people in Uganda, by the way, when you look at a situation like Easter or Christmas or Eid, most of the Ugandans, what I do know about Ugandans, that when it comes to weekends and it comes to partying, they will put work aside. And surprisingly, this happens to employed Ugandans. Now, when you look at the self-employed, they normally give themselves very, I think, even when they're on, if you ever happen to actually go to a holiday or to a trip with a self-employed someone, or you're going to a concert or something, they will always have a phone trying to monitor something about their businesses. One, checking on their clients, checking on their suppliers. But now for the employed Ugandans or the employed people, because they know if my boss doesn't contact me, then there's nothing wrong at work. So my duty is to go. If I have time for holiday, I'm supposed to go on and on. And that is why I was actually reading somewhere, I was reading an article whereby someone apparently said that to all the self-employed Ugandans, learn to give yourself time to relax, or give yourself time.
Self-employed.
Yes, the self-employed. Give yourself time off your work, and try to get some meditation time whereby you're off completely and you're not thinking about work. Because it is very difficult.
That is very hard, Jerome. That's very hard.
You're self-employed. Now, the reason that's why most of them don't have
because you need to keep track of your businesses.
Yes,
you need to keep track of customers.
But when you're in your holiday leave,
you know the thing we always say that customer is a boss.
Exactly.
So if I turn off my phone, if I turn off my data,
that is what you were saying. That if it is
maybe if you dedicate someone to handle that for you.
No, he says he believes the reason as to why most of the self-employed don't get holidays or don't give themselves a day off or something is because even when they dedicate someone to run their business, they still have it in their mind that that person may mess up. So even when you're on your holiday, you're still calling. So it's like you're working not in the place, but you're already working still. So it is
We will
not the day for
definitely
you,
have to
but you need
continue
to actually
discuss. I'm interested in that kind of discussion.
Exactly.
Because on a day like this, we speak of perspectives from the public on what they think towards a numerous of situations and activities ongoing in their lives. For now, let us look at what is coming on from the inspirational world with the business tip.
And the business tip tells us to keep a financial score, whereby very few small businesses have an accurate idea of the daily, weekly, and monthly numbers and financial trends taking place within the organization. So it is vital that you spend the necessary time keeping current on cash flow. If you lack the financial skills, hire an accountant, but still stay very much in the loop. So I think
isn't that what even you were just highlighting?
So you can see that at the end of the day, as a self-employed Ugandan or business person,
you need to keep yourself in the loop. So even when you go
you go on a holiday, so it's like you're not on holiday.
What are you telling us?
No, me, because I still feel as a business person, you really need to give yourself time. There is actually someone who has made some, who has actually, there's a meme I saw on social media making rounds that it is very surprising that self-employed Ugandan women and the unemployed Ugandan women, it's that what he actually said that it is very surprising that unemployed Ugandan women will be on trips to Dubai all the time. And then the self-employed Ugandan women, the best they can afford is going to a trip to Ginger. It was funny in the context, but when you look at it, it was a bit worrying. And
but
then
they
I was
always
like,
go for, it
yes,
depends on
do.
which kind of employment you're on. People go to China to shop.
In most cases.
Okay, okay, first finish
to
up.
drive the point home here is that most of, I believe, if you are self-employed, you literally have less time of your work. Because one, the mere fact that you've employed, it looks like being self-employed is the easiest thing to do, but it's more demanding than when you're employed. Why? Because when you're employed, all you have to do is one, get to know your job description and get to know your tasks and deliver. And at the end of the day, yours is to demand your bosses for a paycheck. Why your bank account isn't reflecting, those are the concerns of your boss. Now, for a self-employed business person, if your bank account is not reflecting, it's on you. If the business is not working, it's still on you. So that means even when you're off to work, I believe you need to first switch off the phone to relax and go into a recession mode or into a reset mode, whereby if you're resetting, you give yourself a full day and act like there is nothing happening in the world, and you're blue. Or you act like you were dead for a day. Then you return the following day. It's like you take this Easter Monday to be a day off for you, switch off the phones, concentrate on your family. It will give you a different
Unfortunately,
situation.
it cannot happen with entrepreneurs. Because first of all, when your phone even just blacks out for a minute, you feel like, oh, you're losing customer. You're losing money when your phone just blacks out and then you do not have the immediate person, which is why they always say when you're sharing, business cards to people, can you tag on to another immediate person? Because you never know. At time T, there is a business deal that is going to come, and then your phone is off, or any communication access you've got is off. But that extra contact you put, that's why people put extra contacts for the other immediate person. And in case you are not considering that, it's very key, very important for you to have another next of kin in your business. That's not just considered next of kin in families or when you're going to inherit something, but in business, it's very well key as well. Because you realize the boss, something might happen. You could be in a meeting actually, and then someone is calling, you're not picking up. Even the secretary is not picking by that time. But there is that extra contact you put, and then it's a break deal. Someone picks up, and surely seals the deal for you. But back to what Joram, you were highlighting, and we're reflecting on the business tip that is highlighted to stay in the loop. And you mentioned something around trips. It depends on the kind of work you're actually doing. There are people who go for Oksubula. They're going to purchase things from China, Dubai, wherever they go. And then they feel like if I've gone to Dubai, if I've traveled to China to buy my products, to purchase, to go and seal deals, that's a trip for me.
See,
you know, that's how, you know, they mitigate the two. So they do not have to plan for another vacation because they see that time is going to be limited at
over the weekend. I happened to share opinions with my mother. We were actually discussing on the issue of rising prices and people who actually renting these
building material.
No, people were renting arcades, arcades, mini shops and all that. Then she happened to tell me there are some shops around Kajansi that are very new, and she actually told me people are paying 800,000 monthly. Then he asked me, do you think someone can make that money in a month? Then in my view, I was like, then that means if I told that person can make a 300 per week,
they can make it.
And then she told me, well, it's okay, but when you look at the market now, it depends on the type of products you're selling. Clothes, if you're selling clothes, and they're a bit expensive, and the shoes, because I was actually giving in my thoughts. I was like, if a shoe is 100,000 and this person apparently gets like 4 clients in a month only buying shoes, that is 400,000. Then if other things also add on. But then she actually came out and told me there is something we always forget. People have to eat on a daily. You have to foot your bills at home, your transport, and you're surviving on that particular one. Now, when it goes back to the entrepreneurs, I've been actually thinking about what you were telling me. It becomes very difficult for an entrepreneur to think about going on holiday.
Because a lot of things are demanding. But if I'm to react on what you were sharing with Mother here, when you look at what is happening, I don't know if it happens in Kajansi. Do you have plaza? Is it buildings? Okay.
No, we have
that have got
mini
that have got 2 people inside. You see,
others
they have
actually 3.
That's how they are making money at the end of the day. Because Rita here, Rita knows the landlord. So I go and bargain with the landlord. He tells me the cost. It is going to take you 800 a month.
Okay.
And then I start calling my friends. I call my friend can call a friend. You might end up reaching to Joram Sonko. And Joram, you've been wanting a need to have a room to sell. But then you don't have the money. The money you have has always been less than you can actually afford. You could be having a 400. So I can tell you, okay, you know what? I got a room, let's share, but you'll be giving in 300. That's a cost. You get another one, gives you 300. Isn't that, how much is that? 600. Remember, rent per month is 800. Osigaze mtwalo mmeka? 2. N'ofunayo mulala waka mobile money n'omuteeka mu maaso akuwanga 10, giving you 100,000. N'osigaza 10. Do you know, sir, at some point, the person who rents, the main person who talks to the landlord to rent, has to sort like 100,000 a month.
But well, you can, if I told you landlord is also, let's say, I don't know which one I can actually
consider it. Because most of the buildings, according to what I know,
apparently, and finds that there is a mobile money person. No, he may not charge you direct. He will go to the mobile money person and ask, who brought you here? Now, he wants to charge space.
Now, what I know is that landlords got to know, even it's happening in most of the buildings around Kampala, they got to know. They get to understand. There is a mutual understanding between the person coming to seal the deal that I need that house. So, no mubulidant, you know what, I'm taking this, but again, I'm going to raise it this way. I will have people I have a number of businesses, because I know when you go to rent, they ask you what kind of business are you putting there. Cut. This is where you have to be wise. Tell the landlord, I have mobile money. I tell everything. I have electronics. In another corner, I'll put electronics. I'll have mobile money. I'll operate juice. So meanwhile, you're speaking that, but you're thinking about the people that you're going to be working with. That's how people are trying to actually make the costs meet up and integrate all those gaps, Joram, you were highlighting. But at some point, in some areas, it is difficult because you realize who's going to support that kind of an initiative. So when you don't have that supportive system, you end up, being in that loop and you're not getting out actually. But with that, let us now cross to the business quote. What does it say on a day like this as you're watching us? Here is your inspiration.
No matter how brilliant your mind or strategy is, if you always lose out to a team.
No matter how brilliant your mind and strategy. Okay then. So you realize this when I am learning that no matter how wise you are, if you not actually be intelligent, because there's always a difference between being wise, being knowledgeable, being understanding, and being intelligent. So you realize all of those are very different. So actually you might have a very great strategy, but then do you know you might lack the knowledge to execute or implement that strategy. So which is why this tip is coming to highlight for you. No matter how brilliant your mind is, the strategy or the strategy. But if you are playing a solo game here, it is a solo game basically means relaxation or not being actually there, even when you're thinking about something, but you're just keeping in the dream. You're not implementing. You're not taking things serious, you're taking them for granted. Joram Sonko, if you're taking things for granted, if we're talking about marriage, you're not going to marry for this year. So it's basically clear.
No, it's not taking things for granted when it comes to such things. Well, you see, I'm one of the Ugandans, I believe, who sets realistic goals. There was a time I was sharing how I feel. There is a time I told somebody that I feel I can get into holy matrimony, marriage, wedding, not literally marriage. You can start marriage even without a wedding, and you're already in marriage. Because that is our African setting, away from all that.
It's the cohabiting. Is that cohabiting?
No, as long as you even go and visit the parents and they know
you're married.
No, and you do the local kuchala or anything, and you do some formal. You're married. Now, the marriage part of it, of the wedding, I've normally told people, I believe 2030 would be a good one for me.
20. It's fine.
I'm talking about the realistic situation. Now, the realistic goal is that way. But in the long run, you get to realize that you may have set 2030 because you feel it's that, and then it comes even quite before that. So realistically, setting the goals is very, very important for anyone. Besides even the code that tells us you need to have a team, because even when you set the realistic goals for your business and you don't have a team that is going to push you forward, it becomes difficult. Why? Because I believe most of the businesses are becoming stronger and stronger every other day. Because they have a number of people. Just like I said here with Twitter, I was really surprised that the biggest shareholder has 9.2% for an entire platform. And I hear it makes a lot of money for the CEO. Now that means everyone who's on board is making a lot of money. That means there's even someone who has a 1% and he's still holding too much of that. If a 9.2% is someone who has a lot.
And that brings me to a reflection of inequalities there are in life. Sometimes we don't tend to accept reality around the inequalities. You have to understand as people, as human beings, we're not equal. Even when we will forever fight for that, try to fight for equality, we will never be. You and I are not equal.
No, that was what she was meant to do, or that is her calling.
And actually, a blessing is tagged onto, as the business community, we say blessing is always attached to hard work. If you're going to wait and go fasting, I'm not away from, you know, the religious beliefs. Why are you smiling? Because this has happened. Someone is willing to change everything they can by just, you know, going there, starving because you do not want to eat. You want to just be there waiting for a miracle. Miracles do not just fall from above. Actually, your creator is watching your purpose, because I believe, as a Christian, I believe everyone has a purpose. But what are you doing right now to reach it home? So even when you're there highlighting how you need a miracle to happen, the creator will first give a checker. First of all, what are you even doing? Are you waking up around midday? You sleep around 8 in the night. You're waking around midday the next day. And then you have got hands, you have got the capacity to think, you have got people around you, but then you do not want to do anything. Do you know that there are people like that? I know very many of them. I'm speaking from an experience, you know. So you find someone waking up not even very early, just sleeping because the bed is sweet. Because the bed is very comfortable. And let me tell you something, the world outside the bed is uncomfortable. Yes, that's your perception, you feel it that way. But the moment you step out there, you begin to realize that, hey, I can actually do this better. I can actually manage this on my own. And if you never go out there to challenge yourself, and now let's not speak about those who are sleeping, let them sleep and, you know, dream more. But let me speak about you who is already working. Always try to challenge yourself with more. What can you offer with that capacity? Because one thing I always tell you, Joram, what drives me to do things is that I always put it in my mind that, hey, not that person was born to be an athlete. He had worked for it, or he really worked hard to get there. Not someone learned to be a computer wizard or what, to do a lot of things, develop softwares. No, he had to take time and learn. So everything comes with a learning process. If you want to create change, if you want to get out there and get challenged, it's high time you do it. This reflects actually on the quote we're just are discussing about the strategy. Even when you've got a very good one, and the good one means that you're dreaming actually. Do you remember when we were speaking about dreaming? You're visualizing, okay, I need to put a screen there, it will be of this color, it will have this particular shape, it will be a triangle, not even a square. So you realize it's a good strategy. But then if you actually don't get out there to see how you're going to implement that, you will just ogenda koma kuchikubiloto. So basically that's how I'm concluding on that particular quote. Joram, what's your conclusion there?
Well, I would also stand with you when it comes to let's say the calling that you mentioned of the Christians, that everyone has got a different calling. But this calling also entails one to have that hard work input inside of you, or you need to have that resilience, that you have that spirit or that mentality of a go-getter. You need to get something and you need to execute it faster and most effectively than any other. So for any person out there, we're in a world filled up with a lot of competition. If you're doing something, do it best. Do it to the best of you, so that at least if they are to look for who does it better, you are one of those.
Very well, and exactly that will drive